If you're looking for a quick, easy, and accurate way to make square cuts with your track saw, then stick around and check out these guide rail squares from TSO Products. Hey guys, and welcome to another episode of DP Shop Talk. And today we're going to be taking a look at two guide rail squares from TSO Products. One is the GRS-16 and the other is the GRS-16 PE. Now, TSO was good enough to send these to me to put to work in my shop for a bit and do a review on, so a big thanks to them for that. So I'll go through the design and the features of both of them, show you how they work, and then I'll share my real-world experiences with them as I've put them to work in my shop for the past couple of months. So the GRS-16 is the single-edge model. Now both models are made from CNC machined aluminum, so they're very accurate and they're very durable. So basically it consists of a long reference edge that references your workpiece, and then machined exactly 90 degrees to that is a reference edge here that registers to the side of your guide rail. Now the attachment method is really quick and easy. There's a T machined in it here, and that slides into the T slot on the underside of your guide rail track. And then to actually hold it in place and attach it, there's this draw clamp that will hook over the edge of your guide rail and clamp down and keep everything tight and locked in place. So to attach the GRS-16, you start with your guide rail sitting down on your work surface and overhanging the edge a bit. You take that T-channel that I just mentioned and slide that into the T-slot of your guide rail track, slide it along to where you want it, hook the edge of the clamp over the edge of your guide rail, and snap it down. So once that clamp is drawn tight, that draws the guide rail tight to the reference edge on the square, and it's a very strong connection. It's not going anywhere. You don't have to worry about it getting knocked out of alignment and your cut being off. Now TSO claims that it's a 5-second install process, and as you can see, it really is that quick. There's no fussing with it, there's no alignment, there's no loose hardware, it's just quick and easy. Now another cool feature that they've incorporated into it is this notch. Now what that does is if you're using a clamp on the underside of your guide rail to hold it down to your workpiece, then it allows the clamp bar to nest into this notch so that using clamps doesn't interfere with using the guide rail square. So that was a really well thought out feature. Now you might be saying, yeah, that's great that it's quick and easy to use, but is it accurate? And that was really the first question in my mind, because if it's not accurate, it's basically just a snazzy looking paperweight. So the first thing that I did when I got it was install it and then check it with my engineer's square. And as you can see, it's bang on. Now I'll talk about how that accuracy translates into real-world cuts in just a minute. Now, my other first impression of it was you have a fairly short reference length here, so how's that going to translate into accurate cuts? But then I realized that really you don't have just that reference length that you see from the top, because the portion of the guide rail square that goes underneath your track, that same edge continues, so you have 15 3/4 of overall reference length. So it's much more than what you just see on the top. So now that we've taken a look at the regular GRS-16, we'll take a look at the GRS-16 PE. Now PE stands for parallel edge. So it's pretty much exactly the same as the regular model, with the exception of rather than having just one reference edge, it has two. So they're both identical reference edges, just one is on the front, one is on the back. So what that allows you to do is you can install it like the regular GRS-16 at the front edge of your workpiece, or you can install it at the back edge of your workpiece and reference that back edge and still make your cut in the same direction. So that comes in handy if the back edge has been trued up but the front edge hasn't and you need to cut in that direction. Or if you have something like countertop with no backsplash on it, you can reference that back edge rather than the front rolled edge, so it'll give you a more accurate cut. So it'll do everything that the regular GRS-16 will do, plus those back edge applications, so it makes it very versatile. So now for what it really all comes down to, and that is how do they perform in real world cuts. So I've been putting both of these to use in my shop for the past couple of months, and I've been really impressed with them. Now the bulk of the work that I've been doing with them is cross-cutting cabinet backs, since most of those rips are too wide to fit in my table saw crosscut sled, and they're also too wide to fit between the parf dogs on my multi-purpose table. So the GRS-16 worked perfect. It let me make quick, easy, and accurate cuts on these wider pieces. So I just set up my full 8-foot rips on the sacrificial cutting strips on my MPT or multi-purpose table, and I was able to quickly and accurately cut all of my cabinet backs to size. Now I checked all the pieces after I cut them, both with a square and measured corner to corner on each piece, and everything was bang on. So the method that I've found is the easiest for getting your guide rail in place when you're using the GRS-16 is to push down on the square, which tilts your guide rail back off of the grip strips, and then you can just simply slide it along until you're lined up with your cut mark, and then drop it down. So it's really quick and easy, and actually easier than when you're not using the square, since it's easy to tip the track back and slide it along. You don't have to kind of wiggle it along and fight with it. So once it's lined up to the cut mark, I just give an extra little push to make sure that it's making full contact to the workpiece edge, and then I'm ready to make the cut. Now, the other thing that I like about the GRS-16 is that it gives you something easy to hold on to while you're making the cut, so it ensures that everything stays in place and stays accurate. With that cutout in it, you can easily hook your thumb into there and keep some pressure going forward. Now, the other thing that I like about it is that it will fit into the L-Box 3 that I keep my track saw and all of my track saw accessories in. So when I'm going to site, it goes along with me, it doesn't take up any extra space, and I can make my cuts on site as well. Now, if you're a Systainer user and you have a Festool track saw, then it will also fit in a Systainer 1 lying flat. So again, it's easy to transport no matter which system you use. Now, between the two models, I've been using the regular GRS-16 more, just because it's a little bit slimmer in its shape and profile. So if you compare them side by side, you can see that there's really like an extra triangle sticking out of the PE model, or the parallel edge model. So the regular GRS-16 is just a little bit slimmer, and I find easier to use for cuts that you don't need that back edge capability. Now, I've been using the PE model recently for cutting some countertop, referencing that back edge since there was no backsplash on it, and it worked really well for that. Now, the other application, if you have both of them, you can use the regular model on the front edge and then install the PE model on the back edge of your cut. Now, what that does is it lets you reference both edges, so if you're making an exceptionally long cut and you want to make sure that nothing has sort of drifted off at the back edge of the cut, you can use them both together. So you just set them the distance apart to match the width of your workpiece. Now, I haven't come across a situation yet myself where I've needed to do that, but if you do have both models, then you can use them like that as well. Now, if you're wondering which one is the best one to get, that really depends on the kind of work that you do. If you're mainly just breaking down sheet goods, then the regular model should work just great for you. Like I mentioned, I do like that smaller form factor, and it's also a little bit cheaper. Now, if you're doing a lot of work with countertop, or you're working with materials where you only have one good reference edge to choose from, then the PE model might be the better one for you. It really gives you the maximum versatility. It is a little bit bigger, like I mentioned, but that's certainly not an issue. So now it's time for the DP tool score. So for quality, I'm giving them 5 out of 5 stars. They're really well made. The machining and the build quality is excellent, and they feel really durable. I don't feel like I have to baby them. I feel like they're going to keep their accuracy over the long run. Now for performance, I'm giving them 5 out of 5 stars. They work really well at making quick, easy, and accurate cuts. There's nothing to fuss with. They just do what they're supposed to, and they do it well. Now for design, I'm giving them 5 out of 5 stars as well. They're really well thought out. with no loose hardware to contend with. There's nothing to tighten from underneath. They're just really quick and easy to install, as you saw earlier. Now, they will work with Festool, Makita, and Triton guide rails, so they're not brand specific, so it's a good versatile design. Now, for value, I'm giving them 5 out of 5 stars as well. They're not inexpensive, but I think that you get what you pay for in this case. I think that, in my personal opinion, the speed, accuracy, and ease of use are definitely worth the investment. So that's my take on both models of the GRS-16. Now, as I mentioned earlier, TSO did send these to me to do a review of, but they didn't pay me to do the review, and I'm not associated with them, so my review is just my honest thoughts and experiences with them. Now, the fact that I didn't have anything bad to say about them is simply because I couldn't find anything that I didn't like. They really do work that well. Tools that don't work, they don't have a place in my shop, but these I'm looking forward to using over the coming years. So if you're in the market for a guide rail square, I would definitely recommend either of these models for the reasons that I've talked about. Now, if you're interested in more information on them, you can also read my review article over on my website at danpattison.com. And if you're interested in buying one, you can visit tsoproducts.com and visit their product page. And I'll put both of those links in the video description below. So I hope you found this review helpful. If you have, don't forget to like, share, and hit that subscribe button. And as always, make sure you leave your ideas, thoughts, and questions down in the comments below. So thanks for watching, and until next time, let's talk shop.